Hi, it's Ian here. Today's 5-minute marketing tip is about how to get more impact from your emails using the rule of one. I'll show you how after the break. Hi, welcome back. So I'm sure you've noticed there's often a big difference when you receive emails from people in between those emails that you really pay attention to, you read thoroughly, they seem to really impact, to connect with you, to mean something, and you'll very often do something as a result of reading those emails. And other emails where the content's good, it's interesting stuff, but it kind of just washes over you. You never really make that personal connection with the person who wrote the email, and you never really do anything with it. Now, making a connection, having impact with your emails is obviously vital. Firstly, because if people don't take action, don't do anything with your emails, then they're not going to get any benefits from them. But of course, you're not going to get any benefits either. They're not going to buy from you. They're not going to do something with your charity. They're not going to phone you up and ask to work with you. So you need your emails to have impact. Really good way of doing that is to use the rule of one. And there are 3 parts to the rule of one, ironically. The first part of the rule of one is to write your emails to one person only. So if you want to make that real close connection, you have to write your emails as if you're speaking to one person. So you really need to understand who your ideal client is that you're writing to, what their hopes, their fears, their aspirations, their goals, their problems, their day-to-day challenges. Really understand them in depth so you can write about things they care about. You can write in language that connects with them. You can illustrate with stories that are meaningful to them. And by using language that's like you're talking to someone over a coffee or in a bar, directly to them, you'll make that closer connection. So write to one person. Secondly, you need to write about one topic. Now, when you're doing blog posts and stuff like that and articles, very often the most popular, most successful articles are big long lists, 37 ways of doing this, 15 ways you should try for this, 7 best resources for this. And when people are surfing the web kind of casually, those are the things that attract their attention and they go off and read them. So those work very well in terms of blog posts. But when it comes to emails, when you're sending something to someone's personal inbox, you want it to make a more personal connection. And a big long list of 27 different things doesn't make that personal connection. It is very impersonal. You're much better off trying to pick one topic, one idea, one tip, one single thing you want to write to them about. Illustrate it with a story ideally as well. So I found when my original emails, when I first started doing email marketing seriously 5 or 6 years ago, I was trying to cram every email with loads and loads of content and make, 5 points in this one, 7 important points in this one, 8 bits of content in the next one. And at one point, I kind of ran out of content a bit, and I just wrote one simple email, which was a story. You may have seen it. It's called "Are We Going to Do This?" or "Are You Going to Do This?" which is where my wife Kathy kind of kicked me up the butt a bit to get into action and clear up at the bottom of our garden. We've been putting it off for ages. It was one simple point about kind of gritting your teeth and doing something, even if it's a bit painful at the time. And I was a bit worried when I sent it out because it wasn't packed with all the content that my previous emails had been, but it got the very best response I'd ever got. People started writing back to me kind of saying, I'm in exactly the same situation. I really feel for you. I went through the exact same thing. I'm going through the same thing now. I've really put off this stuff, but I need to just get down and do it completely. Loads of emails coming back like that, more than any of the other emails I'd sent out beforehand put together. So that one simple story, making one simple point, really works well in email. And not only does it get that one point across forcefully, it also makes a personal connection with people. Finally, have one call to action. Don't try to ask people in your emails to do too many different things because you'll just confuse them. So don't have an email that's, click here to go and view something on YouTube, click somewhere else to go and read a book, click somewhere else. Just give them one call to action to do. Now, you may repeat the same call to action through the email. So if you're inviting people to a webinar, then for the people who are ready just after hearing the title of the webinar, you might have a link, a single call to action to go and sign up for the webinar early on in the email, and then at the bottom of the email you have the same link. So it's the same call to action repeated more than once. So you're not giving people kind of too many choices there. It's the same one. But just concentrate on that one call to action. You're much more likely to get people to do the one thing you suggest to them in an email than to suggest 3 or 4 different things, and then kind of rather than choose between the 3, they just end up doing none. So that's really the rule of 1. Write to one person and really deeply understand that person. Make one point and illustrate it with one story, and have one call to action. If you do that, your emails will have a lot more impact. Now, no one gets it right all the time. If you look back at plenty of my emails, I've been trying to make 7 points, I'll have 3 calls to action or whatever. But at my best and at your best, you'll use that rule of 1 and have one person you're writing to, one main point you're trying to illustrate, and one call to action. Give it a go. Next time you write an email, follow that rule of 1 and see what the result is. I'm sure it will work for you. Cheers.